Welcome to LEXperts Smarter Fleets. In this episode, I'll be talking to Marc Palmer, Head of Insights at Autotrader, about the amount of choice available to car buyers and how Lex can help.
So, back in 2019, there were about 45 brands selling new cars in the UK. There are now, we think, by the end of this year, about 80. Yeah. By 2030, there might be 100. So choice has gone absolutely crazy. I mentioned earlier on, we have 10 million people come and have a look at cars every month. The average person is spending upwards of 10 hours choosing their next car. And that actually, in the world like we live in today, is a huge amount of time. And I get it, because there is so much choice. Not just more brands, but more models within different brands. And we've seen electrification be a real catalyst for, not just a difference in offering, but then obviously, and then what people look at. I guess it will be the same in your area, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the OEMs now are electrifying their ranges. So we're now seeing a pretty good choice of electric in any type of body shape of car. The flip side of that is, with 90 or so different manufacturers out there, or the models, is the actual complete mind-boggling choice of everything you can want under the sun. Yep. So our role really at Lex is to kind of go in and talk to the customers about what is it that you want. Let's look at some data. Let's look at what your current fleet is doing. Are all of your journeys in highly urban areas where you're going to have good charging infrastructure, or do you often have to drive off-road in the middle of nowhere? So these are the sort of choices that our customers are needing to make, and our role is to just really help them through all of the different kinds of vehicle out there, and then make the right choice for them.
But with so many models and so many brands and so much new stuff, if you've not done that for a few years, that can be quite a bewildering thing to come into, I can imagine.
Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I've always prided myself on being able to know which car it is, perhaps even which derivative it is, going back to the kind of old days where it was relatively simple to see a model trim line. These days, I've got, there's so many vehicles that I see on the roads, I've absolutely no idea what they are.
Are you noticing a difference in people asking for different types of things within their car? I asked the question because we've noticed first-time drivers, people in their maybe late 20s or into their early 30s, technology, I wouldn't say it was necessarily a big differentiator, but there is definitely an expectation around a certain level of technology, connectivity, entertainment within a car, and they're willing actually to forego a brand in the way they might not have done 10 years ago.
Going back to the OEM choice, what's really, really good about the new entrants coming to market is they typically come with everything. They mostly come fully loaded, and the only ones that might differentiate in trim levels, you might have like a mid-level that doesn't have a head-up display, for example, and the top level might do.
Yep.
So actually, in that respect, it makes the whole choice case a lot easier. More often than not, what we're seeing is actually the choices down to, yes, cost, of course, but range. When it comes to EV, it's like, actually, I really want to have one that can go as long as it can within certain manufacturers that have their own charging network. There are new manufacturers that are talking about putting their own network in. But infrastructure, if we go down the infrastructure point, the public infrastructure now is so good and increasing at such a rate that actually having your own network, whilst it's a nice thing, isn't as important as it was perhaps 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we've seen come through in some recent research, actually. It's funny as well, like finding increasingly that the quality of cars has improved enormously over the last 10, 15, 20 years. So we've got now, much better reliability than we've ever had. The things that go wrong don't go wrong in the way that they might have done in the past. Another thing around choice, when we survey them or speak to them in focus groups, they're coming and telling us, I love my car. People don't often say, unless they like cars, they don't often say, I love my car. And the most interesting thing with that is lots of them, women are much more likely to say that than men. And they're more likely to say, if they've gone electric, I love my car. The driving experience is the thing that they cite. They talk about how calm, how quiet, they really enjoy it. And then the convenience of not going to a petrol station, which I'd never think to have it as a selectable tick box. What do you love about your car? In focus groups, women say, I just love not having to go to a petrol station. And that is something which I think when you hear that, you think, of course.
Yeah, and you can hear immediately people saying, oh yeah, well, you're going to have to charge, on a random service station. But in the vast majority of cases, people don't charge on the public networks.
So with all this stuff that's changing so quickly, are there things that you think will be decision factors that are coming in the next 12 months.
What we're seeing in the last 12 months, and I fully expect to see that coming much more in the next 12, is very long range EVs, 450, 500-mile range vehicles, which are probably going to become the norm in a couple of years.
That feels definitely like the thing that you'd be looking out for. And the extension of range within electric cars, that is the really big thing. That could be a changer for everybody.
I hope you found this episode interesting. Look out for more episodes on the LEXperts Hub.